Top 3 Day Trips in Belgium. Number 01. Brussels to Bruges and Ghent in one day. The city of Brussels is a great prologue to life and culture in Belgium, yet a genuine investigation of the country's set of experiences needs to incorporate a couple of different objections. On an entire day directed visit from Brussels to Bruges and Ghent, you'll see a portion of the country's most significant memorable attractions, also widely popular bits of design. Get gotten up Brussels lodging and set off on an agreeable, cooled excursion to Ghent. When you show up, start an extensive directed visit that features the best, most important pieces of the city. Of specific note is the St. Bavo's Cathedral, which is home to the acclaimed 15th century painting, Spiritualist Lamb, by Jan Eyck. You'll likewise have the chance to see the antiquated port of Grasley, the 13th century shell Gothic construction of St. Nicholas Church and the castle of the Counts of Flanders, which was assembled as far as possible, harking back to the 1200 years and is better known by its Flemish name, Het Gravenstein. As you walk around Ghent, your aide will entertain you with stories, legends and history, a lot of which is known exclusively to local people. After Ghent, the visit proceeds to the city of Bruges. Start your excursion through Bruges with a walk around the cobblestone roads that lead to Minnewater, or the Lake of Love, and its picturesque Lover's Bridge. In the event that you're ravenous, partake in a lunch sitting above the water. Full and revived, you can set off on a visit through Bruges, strolling with your manual for sea-renowned milestones like the Chapel of the Holy Blood, the Market Square and the City Hall. Number 2. Day trip from Brussels to Luxembourg and Dinan. If you have at any point needed to tour in two nations in a solitary day, this is your chance. This directed visit withdraws from Brussels in Belgium and heads to Luxembourg, including various notable and picturesque spots en route. You'll get the opportunity to see palaces, a 13th century house of God and, surprisingly, Roman engineering, making it an incredible method for going through the day. The 11-hour visit leaves toward the beginning of the day from Brussels, where you'll move on board an environment-controlled vehicle and make the excursion across the boundary into Luxembourg. In a little more than 2 hours, you'll show up in Luxembourg City, the enchanting money to the little however captivating nation of Luxembourg. Upon appearance, follow your master manual for partake in a mobile visit through the city. Allow the set of experiences to start with stops at probably the most notorious milestones in Luxembourg, only some of which incorporate the 17th century Notre Dame Cathedral, the Royal Palace of the Grand Duke, which is occasionally open for inside visits when the Duke is away an extended getaway, and the Place d'Armes, a picturesque objective where local people love to absorb the sun or get together with companions. Following up, you'll be coordinated to the more current side of Luxembourg, which could incorporate Secretariat of the European Parliament or the European Court of Justice. Take a period at lunch to get some rest and dive into a conventional feast at a neighborhood bistro. After lunch, and maybe an espresso or a glass of wine, find opportunity to freely partake in the city. Assuming that you're a workmanship fan, you should visit the Museum of Modern Art, which was planned by a similar man behind the Louvre in Paris, I.M. Pei. As the midday attracts to a nearby, head back on the transport to Brussels. As a halfway place to pause, the 13th century House of Prayer in the completely flawless objective of Dinan is great. You'll be back in Brussels so as to make your supper arrangements in the city. Number 3. Brussels Chocolate Walking Tour. Brussels might be popular for a great deal of things, however one of its most notable items is, obviously, chocolate. This visit is assuredly one for foodies. And all the more unequivocally, chocolate sweethearts. Not exclusively will you get to test the great stuff, yet you'll likewise get to encounter the city with a mobile visit. What a combo. Get a familiar sets of shoes on and prepare to stroll around with an excited aide as you visit the features of Brussels, and visit an entire universe of chocolate that you presumably never knew existed. This 4-hour visit takes you past a few fantastic tourist spots in the city, including the Royal Palace and its Art Nouveau engineering, with, obviously, heaps of stops en route at elite chocolatiers and chocolate stores. Try not to misunderstand us. There is broad chocolate tasting on this visit. You'll get to test truffles, pralines thus significantly more close to. Additionally, you'll get taken in the background of a real chocolate studio to make your own personal chocolate, which is unquestionably every chocoholic's fantasy. There's a ton of strolling on this visit. However, at that point once more, there's a ton of chocolate, so it's an incredible equilibrium.